Well, okay. Rewind, brother. You're telling me that other races of men are
Mhm.
pulling better looking black women than black men themselves in Miami in Florida. What?
Yes, facts. Yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The type of women, black women that I okay. Let me. How do I put this? Let's put it this way. So kind of like you and me, I would describe we're more like suburbs, right? We probably grew up in the suburbs, right? At least me. Yeah. I grew up in the suburbs. What I notice is the black women who are like us, who are into anime or in the suburbs, where they hang out often with like you could say the more whiter crowd. They rarely or don't ever date black dudes.
Damn.
The ones we get are usually the ones they're not very too good looking. They're like average or not very good looking, or the ghetto black girls. Those are the ones that when the people say, "Oh, black girls are the bomb," no, the ghetto ones are. But I'm telling you, even like for example, I'm on Tinder, right? Not anymore. I was on Tinder, and I kept getting a fat black woman. That's all I was getting was just fat black women or ghetto. I wasn't even getting cute ones, right? But in real life, I see them always hanging around, like I said, or dating those races. It's pretty often. And here's a quick story. This literally happened 2 weeks ago. Um, there's in Broward, the most famous city known for like going out or going out to bars is called Las Olas. So we're in Las Olas, and we're upstairs. I'm with one of my buddies, white dude, and we're talking. And on the side of my eye, the cutest girl there to me was this peanut butter skinned black girl, and her other friend who was dark skinned. She was pretty cute too. But the peanut butter skinned one was like, she looked like a cheerleader, like a Miami Heat cheerleader, man. She was hot. And before I could even approach her, I saw two white guys, like look like maybe college white guys, but they look like they come from money or something. They approached these chicks, and you know what happened? They pulled them. I don't know where they went or if they knew each other before, but I don't think so. But they approached these girls and they literally say, "Hey, let's go get a drink," and they walked away with them. This is pretty common. You know what I'm saying? So this is what I'm observing right now.
Damn, brother. The part where you mentioned that as to, black men can't pull the non-ghetto, non-fat black chicks is also what I experienced too. I want my brother's experience too in the UK, because I feel like the black woman, for me, a high-value black woman are like, what's her name? Condoleezza Rice, right?
Yes.
Or Kelly Stamps. You know who that is?
I don't know who Kelly Stamps is.
Okay.
No.
So a bougie black chick, right?
Right.
And then, someone like Rihanna looking black chick, right? And I've noticed that these black chicks, right, who like anime, good looking as well, who are educated, went to the top universities in the world or whatever, right? King's College, UK, we have Bristol, and then y'all have New York, Boston, whatever, right?
Yes.
They're not with black dudes. They're not even with educated black dudes like me or you, brother.
No.
They're with white dudes, or even nowadays East Asian dudes. So we can't pull the top notch woman in our community. What's going on here, bro?
I've said that. Me and my brother were talking about that. Like, it's weird. It's like we're the only race of people where we can't get even our top women. We have to settle for the bottom of even our own women. So it gets really bad. And I didn't even know it was like that in the UK, but it's really bad out here. And you mind if I go into a story?
Please.
All right, let me tell you how bad it is. Like I said, I'm pretty much done with dating apps. I score only black women, and it's usually the bottom barrel. I don't care. I'll date anyone as long as they are a par. I'm not trying to shoot for the moon or anything, but I gotta be attracted to you at least, right? So anyway, let me tell you a story. So when I noticed this about suburban black girls is I was seeing this girl. She lived in West Palm, actually. And to be fair, she did have more money than me. So maybe that was part of it, right? Like very well to do. Like you said, came from a really good college. I think she specifically was from Florida State. She graduated from Florida State. She usually grew up with like white and Hispanics, but she was really cute. She was Haitian American like me. She can even speak Creole. I can't speak Creole, right? So, I'm thinking like, okay, cool. So we hit it off, right? Whatever. Whoop the whoop. Apparently, and she's like 32 or whatever. She was married to I believe a Jewish guy, right? Yes, it was a Jewish guy. And According to the story, he didn't treat her very well. Like he slept on her couch. Like he lost his job and slept on her couch. She was paying for everything, right? So they got a divorce. So I'm like, okay, cool. And it didn't sound like she had much dating experience with black guys, but from what I saw, but who knows? But let's put it this way. Every time I asked her to come out or whatever, she would never do it. I would have to drive 30 minutes away to go see her, right? So that was annoying. That was one. Number two, it seemed like, I don't know, it seemed like she was giving me a tough time to get to know her, or like she wasn't full all the way. She would always say, sorry if I'm going so slow. It's because I'm recently divorced, etc, whatever, yada, yada. And at one point, she just texted me and said, hey, I don't think this is going to work. Maybe we could stay friends. And I asked her, I was like, how come? And she told me, oh, well, I don't think I'm ready for a relationship. 4 weeks later, this chick who didn't think she was ready for a relationship, guess who she was dating? She was dating Brad. Yeah, she was dating Brad 4 weeks later, bro. And I was just like, what? And I'm just like, okay. So that's one story. And here's another one, right? I was like, whatever, right? So this is just to point out to what I'm saying about how bad it is. So I have a friend who is Latino. We'll call him W. W's in the car. He's telling me how his sister, right? She's like 34 or whatever, and she's like struggling to find a guy because she specifically likes Arabic guys or something like that. But she wants to have kids or whatever. I'm like, dang, she's having a hard time, right? He's like, yeah, let me see a photo. I was like, damn, she's cute. She's like, hey, he actually offered. He said, hey, he was being a bro. He's like, hey, do you want me to set you up with her? She's really trying to find a guy. I was like, yeah. So 2 days later, I'm waiting. He hits me up. He's like, hey. I was like, what's up? He's like, what ethnicity are you? I'm like, damn, what kind of question is that, right? I'm sorry, my sister's asking what kind of question. And by the way, he's like white passing Latino. The sister is his half sister. So she's like darker, more Native American looking, I guess you could put it, whatever. But she is Hispanic. And I'm like, really? Well, I told him, I was like, I'm Haitian American, I'm African American, whatever you want to say. Like I was born here. And maybe 10 minutes later, he goes, oh, she says that she's talking to someone already.
Whoa.
And I want you to think about that, IP. First of all, if you were not interested, why did you ask what my ethnicity was? And before that, why were you like complaining to your brother about how you can't find a guy and you're struggling to find a guy and you want to have a kid? Because you're in your 30s, time is supposed to be passing you by. You know how that is. And then after, literally before we got on this call, he tells me how she's complaining about how she can't find the guy.
Whoa.
So this girl would rather lose the ability to have a kid before having a kid or meeting. Not even, she never even saw a photo, IP. I can guarantee you, she didn't even look at my photo. She would rather lose the ability to have a kid, right? Before even talking to a black guy.
God damn. Yo, it's over.
It's over, bro.
It's over. Prof. Yo, what's going on here? Oh,
Prof. True story. Yeah. My theory on what this now, to be fair, she's millennial. She is in her 30s, right? But like I said, like when we get to, at least like I said before,